Welcome to Sex Positive Gaming. I'm Annie, and today we're going to look at the new releases on Steam for October and a few last-minute releases that happened in September. These 12 titles are by far the best batch of games we've seen yet this year. I am confident that there will be something here for everyone and hopefully more than one game that piques your interest. As always, all the links I mentioned can be found on my Patreon, as well as the list of games in the order that I talk about them. First up is College Kings Act 3. This is fast becoming one of the breakout hits of this year. With great renderers and quality customizable animations, it is easy to see why so many people are playing. Now, I get a lot of vocal pushback from people who don't really like this game, and it's true that the ratings for Act 2 were not nearly as outstanding as those of Act 1. If Act 3 can turn things around, this humorous college harem adventure is a contender for Game of the Year for 2021. College Kings is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS on Steam, and is also available for Android on their Patreon and website. Next up is the open-world science fiction adventure, Monolith Bay. I first covered this Grand Theft Auto meets Rick and Morty comedy romp back in April, and since then we've seen greater character and NPC customization, plot development, animations, audio, voicing, and an experimental VR interface. They've even added a website where you can share your custom characters that you can create both on PC and on Android devices. Yes, this is highly ambitious, but so far this year we have seen a lot of great progress, and I'm really looking forward to this month's planned early access release. Monolith Bay is available for PC on Steam and their Patreon, with a Creator Companion app available for Android on their Patreon as well. Next up is a game I first covered back in March, Fetish Locator. This is the second episodic release, week 2, and it really adds a ton of new flavor options as well as reinforcing some of the most popular ones. Week 2 also brings improved models and animations as the story becomes more and more surreal, like a college version of Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, if you're going to pick a Stanley Kubrick movie as an influence for a harem game, this is probably the way to go. Who am I kidding? I would play a game based on any Kubrick movie. Well, half of them would be banned, but they'd still be amazing. Anyways, if you enjoyed week 1, week 2 has even more extreme optional flavor experiences and is shaping up to be a fantastic game. Fetish Locator week 2 is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS on Steam and Android on their Patreon. Next up is the slice of life romantic visual novel, Come Home. This is a classic low-stress, zero-consequences Japanese-style visual novel with a lot of optional flavors including trans and male homosexuality. The renders in this game are good, and the animations are really decent. You're not going to save the world or corrupt the city, but if you're looking for a chill, going back to your hometown and dating like 20 people story, then you should give Come Home a shot. Come Home is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS for free on Steam, with an Android version free on their Patreon. Next up is the oligarch simulator Ravager. I mean, you use enslaved labor, can create your very own sex island, and you are probably the villain of this story. The only thing that would make it more realistic is if you use the wealth you extracted from us peasants to go into space. Oh yeah, and you're a dragon that eats people, which makes you way more charismatic than those other jerks. Seriously though, this is a darker look into the isolation and corruption that comes from extreme power balance. Come for the power fantasy, but you may inadvertently learn about the nature of injustice along the way. Ravager is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS on Steam, and for Android on itch.io and their Patreon. Staying with the dark fantasy theme with our next title, The Book of Bondmaids. This completed visual novel is the sequel to Three Kingdoms story Konosuba, but you can totally pick up the plot quickly. This is the product of a Russian developer and a Scottish writer, so don't expect sunshine and rainbows with such a bleak combination. I mean, this does take place in a kingdom ruled by an immortal lich. At least oligarchs have the decency to eventually die. As a warning, this is one of those story-intensive experiences, so holding down the control button and skipping unread text will only leave you very, very confused. The Book of Bondmaids is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS on Steam. Let's keep the mood light and happy with our next title, Untitled Project NTR. There are just some games where the title really tells you everything that you need to know. This is a trainer where you help to create and mold a Japanese-style idol. Along the way there is, competition for your protege's affection. With an NTR and pure love ending, everyone should be satisfied, but I'm sure we can still expect complaints in the comments because NTR never causes drama. Idol Project NTR is available for PC on Steam. So our next title, Love Season, is a Ren'Py adaptation of the RPG Maker farmer game, Farmer's Dreams. It basically takes out all of the farming and turns the story into a visual novel. The renders look great and there are a lot of women to date and optionally have them date other people instead, but honestly it just makes me want to play a completed adult content version of Story of Seasons or Stardew Valley even more. Love Season is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS on Steam, and you can also check out Farmer's Dreams on their Patreon. Next up is the fantasy platformer Sexcraft Sophia and the Lewd Clan. No, this isn't a Sarah Kerrigan trainer, but I'll probably cover one of those when I do parody games later this year. This is a Metroidvania-style adventure with in-game pixel animated sexual interactions, as well as unlockable story-driven still images. Sexcraft Sophia and the Lewd Clan is available for PC on Steam. In our next title, Carnal Coup Overseer's Edition, you play as a member of a shape-shifting species of aliens that is invaded by Terrans. So, wait a second, why are we calling them aliens then? Weren't they there first? This is one of those all the flavor style text adventures with images, but expect a lot of furry options. Carnal Coup Overseer's Edition is available for PC on Steam and their Patreon, and there is an earlier version playable on browser on itch.io. Next up is the medieval life simulator Heads Will Roll. This game takes place in what is now France during the 100 Years' War. There's combat, crafting, dating sim elements, as well as a lot of random variables that make for decent replayability. The hand-drawn art fits with the time period, and while this is a completed game, the developers are still adding new content with no additional charge. Heads Will Roll is available for PC and SteamOS on Steam. And finally, we have College Bound Episode 2. This is a free-to-play expansion for the free-to-play base game that I covered back in June, College Bound. I mean, college harem visual novels are really popular right now and free is a great price. Not microtransactions free, but really free. Seriously, I need a different word here. Anyways, you get a lot of flavors, great renders, and smooth animations. The story is really solid and there are over 20 women to date. College Bound Episode 2 is available for PC, Mac, and SteamOS for free on Steam and their Patreon. There you have it. October looks like it's going to be an amazing month for content, flavors, and hopefully fun. Let me know what game you're most looking forward to playing and if I missed any. Seriously, the developer for Ravager, 4-minute warning, told me that they were releasing on Steam the day after I made September's video. So if you have a game coming out and the date isn't right on Steam, let me know so I can share your hard work and success with the community. And until next time, no shaming, just gaming. Thanks to all this month's supporters on Patreon. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you.